all for AI, so I'm not like clowning Trippy at all for using AI in any kind of way here. I like AI, so I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, I've never tried to do it. Granted though, I don't know how I would, like, for example, granted, half the videos on my channel, I don't even know how you would use AI for it. Because like for example, the next video I'm gonna have, hopefully out in a couple days, day or two or something. I'm having someone else edit it, and just so that way I could work on the next part that was supposed to be all one video. But it's basically gonna be like Gaara being the new Shinju. That's the topic, right? And I'm just like, how would you use AI for the, like, give me some plot, story, and thematic reasons why Gaara should be the next Shinju in R2 Vortex. Like, what are they gonna come up with?
Type it in and find out. At the very least, it's going to give you ideas that you probably haven't thought about, and then those ideas are probably going to be good. So at the very least, you would probably take those ideas, think about them, then include them in your video in some other way. So again, like, AI is a very helpful tool, especially if you know which words to use to make it more effective. It is a tool, just like freaking Photoshop. The more time you spend in Photoshop training the skill, the better you're going to get with it. God.
I'm just curious what it will say.
It's a little bit more new of a topic, as well as probably way less talked about. Yeah, and like more unique of a topic, niche even. And so unlike something like a Gojo versus All Might comparison, it doesn't have a billion things to reference. So
yeah,
this one will be a little bit more experimental rather than it's kind of more the samey or safe. But it should give you some stuff for sure.
I'm just curious what it will say.
Yeah. See if it's the same things you were saying. The thing is, it's probably going to make up a lot of stuff as well that are just like blatantly not true, but it thinks it is. It's because it's a random.
Okay, I didn't think to say to give me a script, so I'm just gonna see what it says.
Yeah, because the thing is, the new Shinju isn't Gaara yet, so it's just gonna throw random things in there, which it would do for literally any random character if you said them. If you said the new Shinju should be Shino, it'd do the same thing.
Okay, so there's some elements of truth and some funniness to what this says. Let's talk about plot implications. The idea of Gaara becoming the next Shinju introduces a dramatic shift in the power dynamics of the Boruto series. So at face value, that can make sense. But Gaara, as the current Kazekage of Tsunagakure, already wields significant influence and power. If he were to become the Shinju, it would elevate his status to a cosmic level. redefining the balance between the ninja world and the supernatural entity. So again, like, it comes back to being okay, but this part,
that's good. Yeah, like, I could see you saying that. I wouldn't bat an eye at that.
The Shinju is the origin of all chakra, has always been an essential element in the lore of Naruto, blah, blah, blah. By making Gaara the next Shinju, the series could explore how such power affects a character who has a deep personal connection to chakra and its burdens. This transformation would set the stage for new conflicts, both internal and external, and provide a fresh angle in the ongoing struggles in the Boruto series. It's not what I'm going for, but it's like kind of funny how like this does kind of work. Okay, Gaara's transformation could introduce a new antagonistic form or force or a new form of equilibrium. His struggle to control or comes to terms with his new identity as the Shinju could drive the plot. No way! Gritting Eyes sticks there where the former allies might become adversaries and where the fate of the ninja world hangs in their balance. Oh my god, okay.
Yeah. It is a little bit shallow and a little bit of
this
saying
is also
stuff that like we already know.
Yeah, it's not going super deep. So like, I mean, I can kind of skim through this real quick. I don't think they're gonna talk about anything I actually talk about, but it's just funny how like this could work for a video. It's just not what I'm talking about. But this is hilarious. Just like, but also it's clear that the GPT doesn't understand what the Shinju are, which Gaara uses to power for the greater good, or the very nature of the Shinju corrupt his ideal. So where this almost works, it's not quite right because the Shinju is just a different character. which he doesn't understand.
Exactly. It might be doing that because he used the word Gara first instead of Shinju, so it's like focusing on Gara and then applying the Shinju attribute rather than the other way around.
Okay, hold on.
I don't know if you did do that, so
Watch this.
just an idea.
About the possibility of the next Shinju in Boruto Vortex being Gara. Let's see if it changes it. Alright, we should stop after this because we could do this for a whole day.
And it'd be the 24-hour podcast unintentionally. I can read a bit if you want me
It is
to,
saying
but it's a
different
little
things.
bit finicky.
Yeah,
well, it's
a
going
lot
to,
of similar stuff, but worded differently.
Yeah, it's using like the neural network brain I was teaching you about last time. It's not just like a cipher to where if you give it one thing, it's going to spit out the same thing. It's going to spit out something completely new every single time because it is literally quote unquote thinking in the same way a brain would.
Oh, this is
so
cool.
It's not limited by a database or anything. It's not like RNG to where it has like 10 different prompts it could give you. It's making something completely brand new.
So this is cool. Like
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, obviously, if I took the time to do this, I could probably like make it work. But to be honest, at least for me,
yeah.
The one thing this would be helpful for, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna. Okay, if I can find. Okay, all I'm gonna do is look for one message that I asked you, like between a sentence or something. This is the.
Yeah,
this is
I was thinking the same thing. That would absolutely work. Yeah.
Because I was going to say, this actually could be the one angle to where this could be really useful for me. If I'm just stuck between two phrases.
But, so the AI doesn't get confused. You'll have to explain it in like a very specific and detailed way to get exactly what you're looking for.
But if I could just figure out like the... Where the hell would...
So have you ever done like the game to where it's like, you have to write the rules to bake a peanut butter jelly sandwich? And the other person has to follow them exactly, which leads to hilarious results. Yeah, that's the same thing. That's basically what AI is going to do because it's a computer. So,
when's the last time
you got to get like specific?
Okay, here's one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably not the best one to use. Shit. Okay, help me find one. Just I want to test this out.
Well, I'm definitely not going to be able to help you find one quicker than you could just find one when I'm walking on my phone.
Well, I thought of another one I could try asking, but this is a different thing.
Oh my god.
Chat,
you have one?
God. The problem is I delete the old ones after I ask you, so I wouldn't. No.
But they're still in the messages.
Huh?
You wouldn't delete the DM. You wouldn't delete the DM.
But I'm not finding any.
Just type a slash.
I know I tried to ask you way less for this last video than normal, but like I still thought there was at least a few, not like the one.
I mean, did you reference your birthday present?
No. Oh my god. Another good one actually to try is, what's a good Naruto OSG for a plot twist conversation? Oh my god. Do I really have to do that stupid one where I had like 5 different options?
Ridiculous.
I hate doing this on stream because I'm looking for it.
It's fine. We could just clip it out if we need to. I was hoping to not clip the stream like pretty much at all, but it really doesn't matter because I'm not walking on my phone anyways.
The beginning. I mean, honestly, we could probably just clip the first part as just whatever nonsense, and then the rest is the stream.
Yeah. I was thinking we would title the first one like Gojo versus All Might, a narrative analysis, which is funny considering like 90% of this has been AI. But at this point, it's been like too much AI. We've moved entirely away from that. So we just have
Yeah.
to name it
Okay.
AI nonsense.
Okay.
But I
Here's
wouldn't want
a
to make
good
this
one I
video
can
anyways.
use. Okay. Just so I can come back to this later. Okay.
Okay.
How should I? Okay. So how would I phrase this if I was gonna try this?
Hello, I need help for a script I am writing. Start with that.
Okay.
I have a sentence, but I cannot
Okay.
decide between
Okay.
the words in it that sound the best. Here is the sentence, and then you give it the sentence, and then you'd copy paste and then put a second sentence below it, the same sentence, but with the different word just substituted out. And so you wouldn't do like a word slash word. You would just have the word in one sentence, and then below that, the second sentence with the second word. And then you would ask it which one is best, noting the substitution.
Which version?
That's how I would do it.
Sounds the best
When spoken aloud, include that.
when spoken aloud. Okay, now the question is, how do I shift return? Okay, perfect. I was worried that I was gonna mess that up. Okay.
Goodness.
Okay, I gotta copy the whole set. Okay. I'm not saying that this is the case. Well, I guess I don't really need the first part. I'm just mentioning.
I've taken a couple of AI workshops that are a couple hours long, so let's just say I've trained it for like 5 or 6 hours, I don't know, randomly. But that's like at 2 times speed, so how effective was it really? I don't know.
I'll just modify
But it wasn't
this.
exactly YouTube script. It was more like for YouTube titles, which technically is more specific and detailed, but you know. If you include in there that you're trying to workshop a couple of different sentences, that would also help.
I'm trying to workshop a couple different sentences that. Okay.
And then you gotta tell it what you're trying to do again. So you can't just say which one sounds best, because best in terms of what?
Yeah, that's the problem. Is like, what? How do I phrase that?
And so for the purpose of narrative analysis, you could say, maybe.
Okay. For the purpose of narrative analysis.
And is this just like a random sentence that you're choosing, or is it like a sentence like that is like including a Naruto related thing in general? Like, what is the sentence itself? Because that would matter as well.
So the sentence, well, there's the first part, but the part that matters, I'm just mentioning the possibility to illustrate the fact that this panel with the Shinki-looking Shinju isn't necessarily something that will ever happen, versus isn't necessarily something that ever will happen.
Then yeah, you'll probably want to include the fact that it's a Boruto thing. But again, like if you're just using this for whatever purpose, just to get an answer real quick, you wouldn't have to do this. But if you're trying for like the most detailed, accurate, specific answer, then yeah.
Yeah.
You'd try and include as much as possible.
A YouTube video relating, about a Boruto 2 Blue Vortex theory.
Manga. Yeah, manga theory.
Manga theory.
I would even include current.
Narrative
or even chapter 13,
analysis.
chapter 14. Just so it narrows down and on that.
About chapter 13 and chapter 14.
Yeah.
I have something.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really need
And
both of these
so
sentences.
that's fair. Yeah, over time, because again, I'm saying to include as much as possible, but like, I don't mean to just word vomit because there's things that would be effective to say and things that wouldn't be effective. And so you just figure out and then hone in on the things that are effective if you've like practiced this enough. Because it's more about the quality than it is the quantity.
Yeah, okay. I'm
You
gonna
could
try
spam it
this and see what
5,000
happens.
words and it does nothing. Or you could use
Let's just
30
see what it
effective
says.
words and it gives you a much better result. Go for it.
Okay. For a spoken narrative analysis, clarity and flow are crucial. The second version of your sentence sounds more fluid and emphasizes the uncertainty effectively. Here's the revised version. So, just for reference, you chose the first one.
Okay.
I'm just mentioning the possibility to illustrate the fact this pale with the Shinki Luki Shinchu isn't necessarily something that will ever happen. Wait, how's that revised? What did they change? Oh, they capitalized Shinju.
That's hilarious. So
The
you can
capitalized will adds
also,
and makes.
because sometimes they might not include a change there. So you'd be like, I'm sorry, but you've been mistaken. You didn't include a change. What did you mean to include as a change here? And then they would be like, oh, my bad, my mistake. And then they would include change. What you want to do is you don't want to treat it like an AI. You do want to treat it like it's a real person. In this case, like you're running BuzzFeed, for example, and you are talking to one of your editor employees. So you do want to treat it like that. And then it's going to give you results based, like tailored around that experience.
I'm just gonna.
So it's going to be more fluid and organic and natural.
For the sake of this, I'm gonna do something kind of fun here. I'm gonna copy and paste this and make a new note.
Okay.
Chat GPT questions template for sentence questions. So that way I have something.
Me and Cam are off the hook.
Well, yeah, honestly, yeah, because I hate that, like, do that. Like, so if I could get this to, like, work, because really what ends up happening usually is I'm just like, I can't decide. Like, I go back and forth for an hour. This could actually save me a lot of time, because sometimes it is so ridiculous when I'm just pacing back and forth for, like, an hour, reading out loud 2 sentences, and I'm like, man, I can't decide. It's so bad. You wonder why it takes me. Like I do this with like every other sentence. You wonder why it takes me 3 weeks to make a video script.
But how you're describing it to me right now, you're telling it to your friend like naturally and like realistically. If you say this like word for word to the AI, they're gonna give you tailored results based around the way you're communicating. And it's a lot more effective. Like again, just imagine that imagine these are emails and you're sending this to someone on the Kamui team. Or even to me, assuming I worked for you or whatever. Keeping it professional is probably best in this case because you want your videos to be professional. And so you'd be like, assuming I like worked for you, you'd be like, hello, Oodie, I am working on this video and I need help choosing between these results. And, just whatever.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually kind of hyped to try this. At least from this perspective. I would have trouble figuring out how I would use this for other stuff because, well, as you and I are both well aware, idea creation is not our weakness. We're usually trying to narrow things down.
Mm-hmm. Again, the workshops I did was mostly about YouTube thumbnails and titles. More so the titles than the thumbnails, considering the thumbnails was like a paid thing, but I was curious anyways. But like, it's about like choosing the most effective means to get there, which is the important part. And so I think where it could help us is like in very specific nitty gritty details as well. Not just in terms of like choosing the convenience between like words or whatever, but like hypothetically, if I wanted to use it for my 3-hour Kimimaro rewrite, well, or not rewrite, but like video, that's obviously ridiculous. I would never, hey, write me a 3-hour Kimimaro video instead of coming up with it myself, considering that's literally the point. But if I'm like, I want more words here for this specific detail about Kimimaro's introspection from chapter 237. Then I could type that in particular in, and then instead of 1 paragraph, I now have 3, or at least ideas to work with to expand the idea. So it's not, I don't want like a basic Kimimaro recap. I want the very, very specific ideas that I'm stuck on. And it's just, if anything, it helps kill the writer's block to just get the ideas flowing, at the very least.
Yeah.
But it might just give you exactly what you want. And like, even if you're like forgetting something, like again, you might be able to just type in a chat GPT if you're able to like copy paste the image. Hey, where's this from? And it might just be able to tell you. Like things like that. But rather than images, it could be like, hey, this happened in Naruto. What chapter was this? And again, that's just gonna help you quickly find the results. It's almost like another Google, in a way. Google,
Yeah,
but
honestly,
like someone
like
that's
I
like
could
the
also
person
see
that can
that.
help
Yeah,
you.
what chapter? Whenever I'm trying to find the chapter or something, that could be useful. Hey, so I was curious. This I want to see what they would pick for. What do you think is the best example of a red herring in the Naruto manga? I just gave some context for what I'm doing. What I want to see what they pick.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Obito's true identity. Okay, that.
Because there's multiple definitions of red herring, you might have to give whatever specifically you're working with.
Yeah, but yeah, it's true. I didn't even think about it. It seems like it's got the right idea as far as storytelling.
Yeah.
So I want to see what he says.
Because you'd want to like think.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Okay, go ahead, read. You'd want to think outside the box. So instead of thinking about what to add, think about. This sounds the same thing, but like what specifically to include versus what not to include, or rather like what to exclude in particular. So that you're like thinking, how can this go wrong? Where can this go wrong? And then that's what you're focusing on so that you can like get rid of that from whatever the results could have been. It's like if you're worried that's going to be too much recap, include something in there that would tailor it away from the recap idea.
But hypothetically, let's just say I ask it in a bad way first, and then I see the response say, okay, I shouldn't have asked it that way. Then I copy and paste it and change it, blah, blah, blah. Is having sent the first one gonna mess up the second one, or is it basically starting from scratch again?
It's gonna remember unless you like refresh or go away from it and come back to it. You wouldn't want. You could do that. It's gonna work if you like copy paste and just changed whatever. But it's gonna remember that it's gonna be slightly weird. It's gonna give you a different, better result, but it's not gonna be the best way to do it. What you would do is you would again just organically be like, I'm sorry, I misspoke at this part. Here's what I really meant. So with this new context in mind, how would you now change your answer from previously to fit the new prompt, basically?
That's funny. I mean, they picked like a good. I mean, they just went with Goofy Toby instead, which isn't the one I was using, just because I wanted to use that one particular scene. But I mean, it's the problem. It's stuff like this. I'm like, I already have my answers for the most part. I was just seeing if you had one in mind that I would be like, oh, that was way better, which obviously could have worked here. But like generally, I was like, I already knew I was gonna pick. But
yeah, again, you almost also, if you don't tailor it a specific way, you almost have to just know or acknowledge the fact that it's going to try and be a lazy employee. It's going to take the path of least resistance to do the minimum amount of work possible and give you the safest result. And so hypothetically in this, you would include like an underrated thing, maybe an underrated red herring moment, or even to make sure that you get the results you want, like top 5 red herrings in Naruto. Now it can't just give you one. So
yeah, okay,
even top 10, top 15.
Okay, we need to make this we gotta make this the last one, but I'll try. What do you think are the 5 best examples of a red herring in the Naruto manga?
Yeah.
So 1, Toby's identity.
And then you could also, you don't have to do this, but just for like the sake, you would also like tell it to include the chapter numbers and all that, but you get that. And then explain why it's a red herring. Yeah.
The masked man
of each one.
The second one, so it's just the moderate half of this. That's funny. Sasuke's true motives.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, that's an interesting. Why it's it even says why it's a red herring. Sasuke's apparent motives lead readers to assume his actions are purely selfish, masking his deeper, more nuanced intention.
See, that's cool. That's the stuff that I like with AI.
The true purpose of the Akatsuki. The surface level goal of the Akatsuki hides the more complex and sinister plan involving the Ai's moon plan. I would say that's a red herring necessarily in this one, though, because the red herring's supposed to... It's not like... It's not necessarily meant to be I mean, yeah, I can see how you can argue it. The identity of the fourth Hokage.
Again, so it wouldn't be too late. You wouldn't go back and come into it. You would just explain right now exactly what you're telling me to the AI. You would say, yeah, exactly. So yeah, and that would help fix the results basically.
Obviously, the true identity of the fourth Hokage, who is Minato Namikaze, is not revealed, and the reader is led to believe he could be someone else or a mysterious figure with unknown connections. Well, the problem with this is the name Minato Namikaze is not a known name. See, connection to Naruto, whatever you want to say, but Minato is like, the name doesn't mean anything, it just is his name.
Yeah. But again, even with the results you have, if it's too simplistic, you don't have to like go back and come into it. You could even, based on this, you'd be like, I find number 3 to be extremely interesting for this reason. Can you expand on it in this particular instance of talking about this?
You know what, actually, okay, are we gonna do one last, okay. Sure. Okay. Just because Von Clip's comment gave me the idea, okay. Okay. Specifically,
ridiculous.
It is about the true identity of the divine tree, also known as Shinju, known as Jura. What do you think is the true identity of Jura? What are the top 3 possibilities in your opinion, and why? I want to see what it picks.
When you ask it, when you ask it open-ended theory questions, it might give you them, but it's not going to tell you which one it's picking of the 3 that it gives you. Just going to give you 3 and be like, any of them could be it.
Yeah, I know. That's fine.
Yeah.
Kaguya Osusuki, or at least a manifestation, a fragment of her.
That's hilarious.
A fragment of the original Shinju. I like this answer, actually.
That's cool.
I knew Otsutsuki clan member. I also like this answer as well. Kaguya seems the most goofy. Alright, that was interesting. I was just curious.
I'm afraid to get Kaguya back in the story, considering Ikimoto's nonsense. Last thing I'll say on the AI is this would also be good for multiple different cases where you have a misconception. So either the AI gives you a mistake and you tell it that it's a misconception because here's the actual truth, and it's going to be like, oh, my mistake. Well, here's the actual thing. It's not going to defend its own point or argue against you unless you ask it to do that, of which case it can again help you to do that as well. Hey, give me arguments for why this actually is a good point or whatever. Or how would you defend against people saying that this is wrong because this is what they're saying, blah, blah, blah. Or again, it could be like, you can point out, give me misconceptions in Naruto, and then you could work based off that. It's like so many different aspects you can go with it.
What do you think are the 5 biggest misconceptions in the Naruto manga?
And why, yeah.
I have to say and why. It gave me kind of why. A little bit. Okay. Sasuke's motivation is purely about revenge. Naruto's power comes from the Nine Tails alone. The Sharingan makes Uchiha characters overpowered. Itachi Uchiha was a villain. I think it means in the past, like he was originally supposed to be. The 4th Hokage was the strongest ninja ever.
Yeah, ask it for clarification on point number 3. I'm curious what it's gonna say.
Which one? You mean the Itachi one?
The Itachi one, yeah.
Okay.
4, yeah.
I'm curious about point about.
Don't use the word when. I'm curious if it's gonna go with that route anyways.
About Itachi Uchiha. Okay,
like maybe even why do people? Why is this a misconception? Even where does this idea come from?
Assumption.
Yeah.
Why do people
Or
I mean,
even
it
better,
kind of
where
says,
when did
but
this originate?
Itachi,
Not when, but like where did this originate? Something like that.
then
How did this originate?
where and
I don't
how
want to use
did
the word
this
when.
conception
Yeah.
originate?
I would take out where because that might confuse you a little bit. But
Oh, too late.
yeah, okay.
Sasuke's perspective. Okay. This is out of action. Okay. It touches. I want to. Okay, readers who only engage with the series
Oh,
at a
that
certain
doesn't
point.
sound
Okay,
like-
no, that's not. It's not okay. It's not exactly the lens I was thinking it was going to talk about. Okay.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
this is going to be like this is too much fun. I mean, that said, though, this as a concept, the one I just did, would be a good one for like videos if I was, because for example, I want to do Naruto misconceptions debunks basically
Yeah.
at some point. But preferably if I could make it work, like one video per one, unless they're too quick, and then you could lump some together.
It'd be good for
And
shorts.
I can just come up with some that I know, but this would be helpful to come up with just more that I'm just like, I don't really know what are what counts as popular. Well, the ones that this guy comes up with, like.
In fact, that's how I would frame it. Yeah, the top 5 most popular Naruto misconceptions. So I would give that to the AI. It would give you the top 5, and then afterwards, I would ask it to debunk it rather than in the initial prompt. Again, treating it like an email back and forth. So you want to give it something to progress the conversation always, but you don't want to give it everything all at once. Unless you do, sometimes, intentionally, but it's sometimes.
And
It really depends. It's really context
would
dependent.
you debunk these misconceptions to explain why they are not true? Okay, we really gotta stop with this.
I know.
Addicting. I haven't even started that rice I was supposed to start an hour ago.
Oh my god. Ridiculous.
Wait, did it stop? Okay, there we go. Okay, so I have to that's my limit.
God. Oh, okay, yeah. I think it's just like either a daily limit or like a refresh and then you have it restarted limit or something. I don't know. Could be a couple hours. I don't know what the limit is, but yeah.
I mean, is
They're all
it free to just download it?
Is it ChatGPT? Then no, it's free. You can just use it whenever. I think there is a
Okay.
limit, but like you get the idea. It's the limit, not really limited. So it's unlimited limit.
Yeah. But I mean, realistically, I wouldn't normally do that many in one day. All right.
Okay.
That's interesting. I guess the problem would be the sentence ones. I'd have to try to like leverage that. Okay. Anyway. You know what would have been a good one? What are your theories for? What are your wait? Okay, we gotta. I'm gonna write this down as a podcast topic.
Okay.
For not this stream, we should do this as close to the sneak peek as possible. Chat GPT gives its chapter 14 predictions.
Do you just want to do that right now? We are pretty close. I'm afraid if we don't do it now, it's going to come out. early.
Well, Oodie, did you forget what just happened a minute ago? I'll see if it lets me do it.
Okay. We can wait.
Well, I'll see if it lets me do it, but yeah.
Because
okay, you would have to
the
do it.
next 2 pods are going to be with guests, and so by that point, the 3rd pod, how would it not?
Let me see if I can do it on the
Not be
phone.
out.
I would have to just read it. Chat GPT.
It's fine. It's whatever.
Let me see.
Okay.
It's not gonna be on screen. Okay. What are your chapter predictions
God.
for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 14?
I would even do
What?
like top 3.
Oh, well, okay, that's a different way of doing it. I was going to do the more crazy way. What will happen in
Okay.
this chapter as extremely detailed as possible?
It's ridiculous. I was gonna say most likely.
If you can you give me predictions for all 40 pages of the chapter? Okay, I really want to do this.
Oh my god.
And then we can try the other way after.
That's so stupid. Okay, I love it. My god.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
Okay. So it has a knowledge code. Okay, here's a possible breakdown of what could happen over the course of the chapter. Page 1 to 5, opening scene. Setting. The chapter opens in a tense atmosphere, potentially with a dramatic confrontation or crucial moment that the previous chapter recapped. Characters. Boruto
So I don't
Kawaki
think it
might
knows
be
what
shown
chapter 13 is. Oh, okay, it's including some Boruto stuff at least.
Boruto and Kawaki might be shown in a heated argument or battle, reflecting the ongoing conflict between them. Intense exchanges highlighting the stakes and their current emotional states. This is a dialogue prediction. The dialogue might reveal their personal motivations and fears. Page 6 to 10. Flashback or backstory. A shift to a flashback that provides context for the current conflict. This would have been a good prediction for last chapter. Key characters from Boruto's past. This could be Naruto, Sasuke, or other pivotal figures. Explanations or revelations about past decisions, mistakes, or motivations that are influencing the present conflict. That could actually happen. Back to the present. Where they're, okay. Both Boruto and Kawaki showcase their abilities with the focus on their new skills and techniques. Taunts and strategies are exchanged, giving insight into each character's mindset and tactical approach. I mean, Boruto's kind of handcuffed right now.
Yeah, that's the thing.
appearance
I
of a
don't think
new-
it knows what chapter 13 is, or 14. It's giving more general things than it is specific. Yeah, it is coincidental things, but like Boruto and Kawaki having a heated battle or whatever, those are
this is
such
very vague.
big characters. But like also the fact they're like iconic characters. Like it's not mentioning Koji or Shikamaru or Kakashi interrogating or anything. Like it's the verbs and the characters are not like it. You could apply this to any chapter practically.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna try. What are the top 3 things you are expecting to see in chapter 14?
I would even maybe include chapter 13 details just to help it out. Like now that Boruto's been shot and put in handcuffs and taken away, what will happen next? Like
shot by Jura and put in handcuffs by Konohamaru for the purpose of interrogating him, and a new divine tree is being born. What are the top 3 things you are expecting to happen in chapter 14 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex?
What would be hilarious is if we asked it like the biggest criticisms of 2 Blue Vortex chapter 13. See if it agrees with us.
Oh god, okay.
Like, what are the biggest mistakes, the worst things they did?
Okay, I'm just gonna like skim around things I found interesting. Revelation about the new divine tree. Okay, that's basically saying they think it'll come. Kawaki's actions and a larger threat. With Boruto restraining the divine tree emerging, Kawaki's actions will be crucial. He might take drastic measures to either rescue Boruto, confront the emerging threat, or pursue his own goals. Blah, blah, blah. Okay.
You should ask them in terms of like one of the things it listed, not all 3. Ask one of the things. How specifically will Kawaki act, or what will he do in particular? I'd be curious.
In light
because wow, Kawaki's gonna take an action.
3. Light of point 3. What kind of action do you think?
Well, I would take out what kind of, just what action, or
what
specifically
action
will Kawaki do? Yeah. Even that, I feel like it's going to give a broad, specific action. Like specifically, Kawaki will act hostile.
Okay. Kawaki's likely actions: plan to rescue Boruto, Kawaki might devise a plan to free Boruto from Konohama's custody. He could seek out allies who are sympathetic to his cause or who have a stake in Boruto's safety. This might involve covert operations, hacking the security system, creating a diversion to extract Boruto. That sounds like a Shikamaru plan. 2. Convert
That
the
would
divine tree.
really help him with omnipotence there. Yeah, screw you, Konoha. I'm saving Boruto. Come on, Himawari and Sarada, help me out.
Kawaki might recognize the divine tree as a significant threat and take proactive measures to address it. This could involve attempting to destroy or neutralize the tree before it reaches full maturity, possibly seeking the help of powerful individuals or using his abilities to disrupt its growth. 3. Seek new alliances or resources. Realizing the scale of the threat posed by Divine Tree, Kawaki could look to form new alliances or seek out resources that are critical for combating the emerging threat. This might involve negotiating with or recruiting former enemies, acquiring forbidden techniques, or accessing hidden knowledge about the Divine Tree origins and weaknesses. I mean, these aren't the worst predictions in the world.
I'm telling you, bro.
Okay. What
Gonna be as
was
lazy as it
the other
can.
thing we were going to say right before that, though? Oh, yeah.